For information on the on the hackerspace and the stuff that we do here, go to meetup.com/synshop, SYNSHOP, for the classes and the meetups and the stuff that we do here. And for more information on our podcast, go to Greynoise, GREYNOI.se, which, by the way, was updated about 5 minutes ago. Finally, with the Discord link.
The correct Discord link.
The correct Discord link. Anyway, let's see. Do you guys have any announcements and things coming up? Or things that you're working on? Or how was your weekend? How are your holidays, actually?
Pretty good. Got to eat some bomb, authentic Mexican food.
Okay, awesome. That's cool.
Well, Feliz Navidad.
Are you Mexican?
Nah, I just work with a bunch of Mexicans.
Okay, no, that's cool. I just didn't know.
Tamales. You got tamales, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Is there nothing better than tamales?
Especially, I don't think I ate any of the ones I made, but I made some. And that made it even better.
I saw the worst.
Do you put olives in your tamales?
So apparently for the first time they did do that.
Yeah.
I got to the tamale making party like 2 hours late. Mm-hmm. So they'd already moved past the tamales they were putting olives in.
Yeah. Did you have some?
Yeah.
Did you like them?
I couldn't even tell, to be honest, that they were in there.
Yeah, but did you like them?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Tamales are amazing.
Yeah,
Enchiladas.
It's hard to mess up a
something
tamale.
else that I can't pronounce.
Oh, yeah.
So I saw, speaking of tamales, I saw the worst thing I've ever seen. It's a hot dog wrapped in that maza, then wrapped in the tea leaf. So it's basically a hot dog. Yeah, it's a hot dog tamale.
Oh, yeah, but how did it taste?
I don't know. I just saw a picture of it.
Oh.
I already knew it was at least a violation of some sort.
I mean, like, I don't know. It's the whole hot dog and maza thing. Like, I don't feel like those flavors go
I mean,
together.
Spam Masubi is really good. It might be good.
Yeah, okay. It might be the alcohol talking, but now I think I might want to try it. I don't know.
With the tamale, the red tamale sauce.
Yeah, that was
Well,
it.
that is true. If you had sauce,
Now I
totally
gotta find the picture because I think that could be shared in the Discord link. And we already have our first community.
That's
mic.
like the
We haven't
best
even
2
gone past
o'clock
introduction.
drunk
This is great.
food ever, right there.
Yeah, but that's probably what it came from.
Yeah, I think
wanting tamales.
Yeah, somebody's like drunk and they're like, you know what would be great with
They're
this?
like, I definitely have maza.
A hot dog. Community mic.
Wouldn't it be just kind of like a Mexican corn dog at that point?
Oh my god.
I did think you were going to say that they fried it.
No, but that's a great idea.
Oh my god, that sounds great.
Yeah, so you know what? Maybe it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen.
Oh, a Mexican corn dog.
All right, so now, by the way, I was about to do this show completely solo. It was going to be Chen Solo Part 3, but these gentlemen just so happened to volunteer kind of
You can address
after
my
I
check.
asked
No,
if they would like to hang out with me today.
Now I want Roberto's to put that on their menu.
I mean, they would. They are definitely like the fast.
All right,
food.
Roberto's, here's looking at you. So
That's
I hope
right.
you're watching live, Roberto's.
Yeah.
Like, I would put Roberto's like a step up above Del Taco, but they're still like fast food Mexican style.
Well, I was thinking I could probably get Roberto's to do it, and it would be more challenge to get like one of the other restaurants to do it. Well, fast food restaurants.
Well, you just have to make sure it's a fad that teens like.
Oh.
That would go everywhere.
So we can meme this into existence.
Exactly.
Oh, I like it.
All right, well, this is not a Mexican food podcast. Actually, this isn't even...
It could be.
Actually, this isn't even really an InfoSec podcast. It's more like a STEM kind of thing, So, let's see. So I updated my Kali installs on both machines and virtual machines, and I can't believe how far behind I was. They changed the interface and everything, so now you have...
Did you just break it when you did the update?
I broke it on one of my machines. So out of the 3 machines I have Kali installed, 2 of them were properly updated.
Why don't you just run it in a Docker?
Well, it's a virtual box machine.
Oh, there you go.
So I could just
Yeah.
it's virtualized.
How'd you break a virtual box?
I don't know. It's Chen. It's me. It's like I don't know how I do these things.
You did what?
No. So okay. So the one that broke, I ran out of space, which is weird because
Okay.
I thought I had enough space, and it's like no, you actually need like a 1.5 gigabytes of like space. And
That happened. I had it installed on a laptop for DEF CON. And then when I went to update it, apparently I didn't give the root directory enough space, so it was like, nah.
That's
Yep.
what
The
I ran
funny thing
into.
was, is
That's what I
like,
ran into.
after it
Yep.
updated and then removed, it would have still been within, but it doesn't do the removal until after it does all the update stuff.
Yeah.
Did you Okay, we're going very technical right away here, so that's cool. But did you partition your drive separately to where like root and home and var and stuff
Yeah,
like that?
because it's like you could do this, and I always like do it, and then I never need to because I normally wipe my machines within 6 months anyways.
But they kind of play to your ego because I've seen the graphical install where they're like, okay, base users pretty much put everything in the single partition, but advanced users separate their partitions so you can have root and var and like your home directory all separate, right? So out of like, let's say a 40 gig partition, you can partition that further and then screw yourself later when you're trying to do exactly what we just did.
Yeah, like I had none of the tools to move it, so I just wiped it.
Now, if you're setting up a server, having those different partitions, it allows you to be able to do recovery much faster. But for like a laptop,
It said the advanced option, and I was like, yeah, I'm an advanced Linux user. I can totally do this.
Yeah, I'll be honest, same thing with me.
well,
See,
I
they
guess
play to our egos.
they're trying to use advanced as a scare word to make you not want to do that.
Oh, I could.
Yeah, you took it the wrong way.
Yeah. No, I was looking at the advanced options, and I crossed my arms. So I was like, man, I've been a Linux admin for like 10 years. I could totally do the advanced
speaking
option.
of this,
I'm dumb.
Installed a Arch the other week.
Oh, that's really dumb.
They have changed their documentation where you can. I remember you used to be able to just follow along.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like
You
there are
can't?
some parts you can't follow along. Like you have to actually know what you're doing. Because like it always comes down to like the partitioning. The partitioning used to be dead simple. They had a simple like blurb at the top that was like basic partitions, and then they had the more advanced. But that's completely changed. It's now like all technical. You got to actually pay attention. Couldn't do it while I was just doing other things.
So the documentation doesn't have the sudo in front of the command, so you can just cut and paste.
Exactly. Like I'm just trying to test out the Hyper-V features on my new work laptop, and it has to go and do this.
I think everybody's just trying to be Gentoo.
Thought it was fun.
Nobody's trying to be Gentoo.
No.
Yeah, I mean everyone just wants to go right for Linux from scratch.
Well, that's kind of what Gentoo is,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, I mean Arch is literally Linux from scratch with a package manager.
Well, isn't that what Gentoo is, though, too? Like, well, okay, so what? He brings up a good
Well,
point.
I think what everybody says, Arch is a usable Gentoo.
That's
No,
what they say?
it's Arch started as Linux from scratch, and
Yeah.
then they built the package manager, which is a
Well,
cool package.
Right, but
manager.
okay, so you've never touched Gentoo then, right?
I've watched videos of people.
Well, that's a long, boring
It
video.
was.
Yeah, so
I think I'm still subscribed to the guy just for that. I'm
So
like,
for
man,
the- yeah.
spent
It's
2
like
hours
3
with
days
you.
later. Man, his video is the longest ever.
for those who don't know, so Gentoo is a Linux distribution where you compile from source. And of course there's benefits to that, right? So like if your machine has Bluetooth, you install you build the Bluetooth module like into the kernel, so it's not just a module. And if you don't have like a PS2 adapter, which I don't think anybody does anymore, then you don't need to install that into the kernel. So you build the kernel from source, which is a great thing, especially if you're doing like a streamlined service or server.
So you would have to check, yes, PS2.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
No, but I'm saying like you're building it from scratch and then you watch it compile. It's actually a nice
Yeah, you do.
yeah. So
Forever.
so a Linux install like okay, if you're installing like Ubuntu or whatever, where it's like a 20-minute like ooh boom yeah I have a new system, yeah, grab a coffee when when you're working with Gentoo, and I don't mean like
It's not just a coffee. It's more you set it.
no I don't
go
mean from
do
the
stuff,
I don't mean
have
from
a
the
life.
kitchen though. I don't mean from the kitchen. I mean like you go to Starbucks or Dutch Bro,
see,
wherever you go, and
This is
you
how
go
Cheddar
get a
save
coffee.
money on your OSs, but pay for everything else.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I do.
right. But you learn so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the times you failed at Gentoo, it made you stronger.
Kind of, yeah, no, seriously, like, it really did help. I'm not even joking. Like, building shit from source made me a better Linux admin.
Yeah, I mean,
it really did.
everything, like, every time Gentoo's been brought up in the forums, it's always like, every now and then, like, thrown around half-assed, like, do this. But normally, people are like, oh, if you actually want to know, like, that's how Linux from scratch. Like, Linux from scratch is only brought up as, like, if you want to know about Linux, there's always this. And Gentoo's kind of like, I think it's honestly probably about the same. Maybe it's a step over to, like, the left.
I think
but-
that's how people start building their wizard beards. They start watching the
Yeah,
the
you just
source
sit there for
compile,
days.
and you sit there and like it just starts to happen. Yeah, so we have somebody already stroking their beard in the audience
it's
there.
just like,
I mean,
oh,
it
this
wasn't
is
that
nice.
color until he got into Linux.
No, you're a Windows admin. What are you talking about?
That's how bad it is.
Yes.
The brief
Okay,
Linux
there.
he has to do is enough to turn it.
Oh my god, he's going to turn into Gandalf there. Okay, so I actually had a couple of questions posed earlier this week about things. Now, okay, so last episode we talked a little bit about how we get started or how to get started in cybersecurity and whatnot. Now, it was just me last week, so I'm glad you guys are here. Maybe I can get your input on the same thing. Now, I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time on the subject matter, but when it comes to like getting into the career, my advice was, and actually there was a tweet about this earlier. Like, no one is ever 100% self-taught. Okay. And I think I would agree with that. You find a mentor, you watch somebody who's done it before, like maybe on a video, or somebody who's like a live mentor for you, but you don't, for the most part, I don't think you do it 100% self-taught. You talk to people, you have conversations like we're having now. And this individual, I told them that that's partly the reason we started this podcast, is to find people or get the interest of people who could maybe learn us something. So thoughts on that as far as how you guys got started? Like, Sub, how'd you get started in this whole thing?
So pretty much, I lived in the middle of nowhere, and computers were kind of like, I had one, so I used it. And then it kind of just became a fallback career. I got a little adventurous.
Oh, the male stripping wasn't going to be a thing, was it?
Like I said, I got a little adventurous, and then I couldn't afford the college for it.
Wait, you went to college for stripping?
I couldn't afford it.
Oh.
Literally just said it 2 seconds ago. Doesn't even pay attention.
I'm only half listening.
So then it just became like computers was a fallback. I was always kind of good with them. Computers make sense. I'm a kind of logical thinker. So computers were just kind of like, oh, well, I know this. And then it just kind of became, oh, well, I don't hate working with computers. It's the people. But that's a different topic.
Wait, so are you saying that only logical people can work with computers?
No, not at all. I'm saying is like people have strengths. Like everyone has like things that they're good at, and this just played to my strengths. I mean, the biggest thing is people's strengths can change. They're not set in stone. I just went at it from a young age, and because of that, mine haven't really changed that much.
Okay.
But now it becomes like, right now one of my issues with it, so I work for a company where I kind of like do a lot of sort of things, and it's because I'm trying to figure out where I want to go from there.
So you're trying to find your specialty.
Yeah, exactly. Like I definitely do like cybersecurity, but I would say I subscribe to the belief that before you get into cybersecurity, you should get into something else. Like you shouldn't just head first dive into cybersecurity. You should
Something else being like IT management.
yeah, IT management, system admin, etc. And from what I've seen, it seems to be like a lot of people in cybersecurity have that same mindset, and it makes sense because then you're not just trying to like learn things by drinking from a fire hose. Instead, you're like, oh, I want cybersecurity. I know systems admin stuff. We'll start there. Stuff like that.
Vic, I don't think I've ever asked you this question. So, how did you get started? I don't think I've ever asked you.
Well, at the time, I didn't even own a computer.
Oh, so you were hacking like way back.
Yeah.
You were hacking like Abacus.
Yeah. It was
Abacus? Abaci?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Abacuses?
Do you kiss your mother with that mouth?
You know how much those are expensive
Abacuses.
those are? You can't afford more than one.
Okay, so you were hacking before computing.
Well, yeah, when you had to, like, the computers were in a room.
Oh, yeah, like a timeshare or like a punch card and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to age you, I'm just saying.
No, it really was punch card time, yeah.
Oh, I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
No, but that's the thing. Like,
you used to have to color code them, keep them in a stack, so if you ever dropped them, it was like hell to put them all back in the right order.
yeah. I've heard that plenty of times from all. Yeah, a lot of the jocks, right? The jocks would like come by and like, if you were like really nerdy, they'd like push the box over and.
Yeah, I don't know
Feel
where
like
these
watching on
nerds were.
TV.
I was like, I actually boxed. I was a nerd that boxed, so.
He was.
You boxed and like wrapped them into like they were like nice and organized until you got to the computer.
No, I was a pugilist.
Wait, what?
He boxed as in he was a boxer.
Oh, that type of boxing. Sorry, man, I'm drunk. Like, only half of my vocabulary works. And I mean, now I get it. I'm a fighter too. So okay, cool.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Oh, you mean like you boxed him, put him in box?
Yeah, I was like, oh, you're like,
He just thought you were really neat. Very
no,
organized.
you made sure they were organized and shit. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds right. Like,
Yeah.
no, I meant I punch motherfuckers in the face and they mess with me. Okay, we're on the same page. I swear we're on the same page now. So, okay, so Good. So now we know where we all kind of start.
Well, do you remember the first thing you ever had a computer respond to you with?
Do you? I gotta think about this.
Yeah,
one a
I
little
used to
bit.
make batch programs. I remember I was really big into D&D because I'm a nerd. And, you know, I had to be.
What?
It's part of the path.
Yep, I agree.
I made like a
You're putting
really-
nerds in a box, sir. Not like that kind of box.
I still have a printout of a Fortran program that's a D&D program. It's about 10,000 lines. And basically, you go through like 4 levels of dungeons, and it's all text based.
Yeah, pretty much. Like it just started with just making like character sheets, and then naturally I was like, oh well, I already have this information. I mean, it wasn't anything like complex. In fact, there is a program I wrote when I was like 12 online still because I posted it to SourceForge, and they're not going to throw that out even if it has 2 downloads, which are both me. But like, it was kind of the beginning.
Humble brag there.
Yeah, I still
I
remember.
got 2 downloads, both me.
Yeah. One of them, it was written in Python. No, what happened was I wrote it in batch and then used like a batch to exe converter, and then I was working on the. I had everything down except for I was trying to make it as super modular. Like it had the simple store system down. A lot of go-tos, not gonna lie.
Oh yeah.
And it literally was going to
Go to
be
sub.
where like it then accessed a folder, and that's how it like brought in all of the adventures. So you could literally just write the stuff, pop it in, and then you could bring in adventures. And then the hard drive died, and this was before I knew like that didn't actually mean anything. Like just because it wouldn't boot the OS doesn't mean you lost everything.
Oh, so like the information's there.
Oh
you
yeah,
just
I lost like everything.
lost.
And I stopped working on it for like 3 years. I was so upset.
Did you ever? You never recovered to that data.
Not that data. I did recently find out that apparently my cloud storage provider of choice still has the second iteration of that, though. So I haven't
nice.
lost everything.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
But yeah, so that was the first thing, was just like a simple, like you gave it text and it would print it all out nice and neatly.
So you got a document formatter going there.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, not anything special, but it was the first time, like, everyone always talks about, like, the first time the computer, like, did what you told it to. And the same feeling. Like, I made that. That was mine. And sure, there's probably, like, 18 billion other versions that do better. But it was the first time, like, as a, kid living out in the middle of nowhere, had a little power, got a little God complex going, you know?
I can control this machine. That's how I felt. But I didn't start by programming though, like kind of the way you did. I started by just needing to run the video games. So the computer that I had was running like Windows 3.11. Yeah, it was Windows.
Wow.
3. Yep.
Yeah.
Windows 3.11, and like you couldn't. Like it wasn't an OS, it wasn't an operating system. DOS was, right? So this was just like a file manager, like a graphic file manager. So you had to get out of Windows to then change the directory to whatever your gaming.
And then launch the executable.
Right, and then like you had to change directory, and when you use the CD command to change the drive to like your CD drive to then run the game that was loaded in the CD-ROM. And so that's how I started with the command line, and then just everything from there went technical.
Speaking of CD, I just barely found out that CD /D is needed to change on like some Windows boxes. If you try to CD into like a different drive, it won't work. You need /D, and this I'm talking about like 5 years. I've had to like manually just memorize the drives /D, just in case anyone needed to know. Save yourself time.
What does it do?
So like if you ever like, the biggest for me, it was always like booting into like some kind of Windows recovery. It doesn't allow you to just CD into a different drive like you would normally, like if the machine.
Oh, so it's
booted up.
like a hidden.
Yeah,
it's an unmounted.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's a temporary file structure, and I think because of that, it has like a flag probably somewhere that says "Don't allow me to change."
Okay.
So CD.
So it's an unmounted structure.
Yeah.
Do you know? Wait, I'm sorry. Do you know what that D flag is?
Yeah, I'm looking it up right.
Okay.
SS64.com, man.
Oh, sorry.
It just literally apparently has changed the current drive. In addition to the changing folder. I think what it is I think all of modern Windows has that built in as like alias. So if you CD, it just automatically will do that. But on these like temporary, they're super streamlined DOS systems. They don't have that built in.
Well, I mean, like, my whole point to this segment was that we all have our own backgrounds. We all have our own different ways of, like, how we got started and how we kind of got into the technical field. My point here is that there is no one way to do it. Okay? There's no one way to, quote unquote, get into the industry or get started with the industry. The three of us up here have started all different ways, different backgrounds, different starting points. So it doesn't matter where you start. And as long as you keep your logical mind, your analytical mind, it doesn't matter. Like, we've all come from different backgrounds.
Well, look how many different jobs you've had in the last, like, 10 years.
Yeah.
Technical jobs.
And I actually want to talk about that next week, but yeah, I know where you...
Right. So you have, like, you didn't stick with one thing. You just kept evolving yourself. And I think if you're the type of person who can do that, then you have a better shot at getting your foothold in tech.
Right.
Yeah. If you're a person who needs an academic environment to be able to learn and advance, tech's a little bit harder because if you don't have that initiative to go out there and find it on your own and to build your own skills, it's hard to do that.
Yeah. Do you think, kind of going off of that, do you think that specializing in any particular technical area is a weakness or a strength?
Well, it depends on how specialized you
and what it is, because I mean, there's definitely, like, I'm assuming you're coming from the part where, like, you know, if you're not specialized, you can easily, oh, this becomes a dead tech, move on to the next one. But, like, there's still techs that go around, like, have been around for, what, 20, 30 years and aren't going to be leaving anytime soon.
I mean, COBOL programmers are still getting paid six figures.
And they are all retiring.
I think...
Not like all, but like a good amount are going to be retiring soon.
I've been saying that since I started.
Yeah,
That's right.
see, they've
For
been saying it
25,
forever, so
30 years now.
they'll retire when they're dead.
That was some free promotional speech for anyone running those COBOL programs. IBM has one I thought about applying for.
Yeah.
What, a
They have-
COBOL program?
Yeah, they have a whole mainframe because
Yeah,
they
it's a
found that the or maybe if not the number, the quality that they've come across isn't as good. So they're like,
Wait, quality of what?
like mainframe programmers and stuff.
Yeah.
Because they do have to fill positions. Because there are, like, even if it's not as drastic as they make it seem, there are still people who 40 years been working on machines are now leaving. And there's not a lot of colleges that do mainframe. There might be electives, but they're not, like, in the main curriculum.
Is it? I mean, aside from book literature, I'm sure there's like a COBOL tutorial somewhere out there on the internet.
Yeah.
You could learn.
Yeah.
Um,
But I think IBM also, like, offers a job after or something if you do good.
oh, okay.
Something like
Wait.
that.
I'm sorry. How do we get on
Program.
COBOL? Oh yeah, no. I'll talk about
Skill sets.
specialization. I was talking about like specialization versus like just like a wide area of knowledge. Which one do you think is better? Or do you see specialization as a weakness?
I wouldn't say it's a weakness, because here's the biggest thing. Like, it's one of those, like, there's tons of factors. If you're going to talk about it from, like, a financial perspective, is it going to be around long enough for you to make... If it's going to be around for 10 years, is it going to be needed? And is it going to be something that, like, you can then pivot from? Because, I mean, you could specialize, do something for 20 years, and then down the line it can lead you into something new. Or you can, hey, we're going to have to let you go. There's not really anything for you to do here.
Okay, so as technology changes more rapid as we go along, do you think any technology will be around for 10 years? It seems like we've been needing to kind of reinvent ourselves about every 5. As far as, like, you know, we're a quote unquote pen tester. Well, now penetration testing is starting to become more automated. You know, you just run a few tools, like a vulnerability assessment tool, read the report. Is it a false positive? No, it's good. Cool. Write the report. Done. Right? So that part of hacking is kind of automated. So then we move on to something like DevOps, or to use more buzzwords, like AI or machine learning. I was using this a lot earlier. My laptop just died. Did I get plugged in? Anyway. Oh, no, there it is.
You went to sleep.
I guess I wasn't touching it a lot.
You're not touching me.
Yeah, the computer's telling me, you're not touching me! Touch me! My screen's turning off.
So I guess...
No, so my point is...
Yeah, no, I think really the only answer is, like, it just depends. Like, there's different fields that specialize 80% of the skills are universal. It's just the 20% of how you put it.
Well,
so if you can learn the universal part and apply that to something else, because I've had moments where I've had to like relearn things because I learned it for one reason, and then I couldn't really apply it to a new concept, so I had to relearn the strategy, whatever. So I mean, if you're someone, it comes down to who you are, really. I mean, I would say if you can get transferable skills, definitely go for those over specialized skills.
I agree with you. A while ago, Vic over here actually said, "Hey man, if you get really good with VoIP, you'll have a career for the rest of your career. Like you'll have something for the rest of your career." I wholeheartedly agree with you, Vic. But I was like, I'm going to learn DevOps. And I just left the VoIP admin position, and I was like, I'm going to do something else. And
But
I'm trying to find that transferable skill that Sub is talking about.
well, how much transfer from what you had to discover and learn and introduce yourself to be able to admin VoIP? How much that transfer to DevOps?
As far as the underlying system, maybe a little bit. I mean, these are all still kind of Linux systems, even though we are getting into the realm of like containerization, and it seems like everybody in the DevOps field kind of has their own solution to DevOps, right? Like a CloudFront formation or Terraform or Kubernetes, which is now, wait, did Kubernetes buy Docker or
What?
vice versa? Something like that. Anyway, my point is, so you have, I think the Linux skills helped transfer some of that skill over into what I'm doing now. But no, there's still a big learning curve actually. So,
But I would also argue the confidence, because you did VoIP for how long? If you don't mind saying.
5 years,
Yeah.
only
so,
5.
So that's 5 years, and I mean,
But see, that's what I'm saying. It's 5 years, and then I had to reinvent myself, right? So like,
But you also 5 years of like, oh, I did this.
Well, you're figuring problems out. You're taking tool sets and figuring problems out with those tool sets, and you had to learn those tools. And what you really learned is how to learn a piece of technology.
mhm.
And I would definitely argue that every time you solve a problem, it's good for like yourself, and it definitely helps grow. Like, I had a server we were trying to get into that like everything online was saying no, you can't, and like through 15 different steps, I finally got us back into it. This happened like 2 months ago, and I'm still thinking about it, like, because the big wins that like, because I'm assuming VoIP, like there was a lot of small issues where like, you know, you spent
Yeah,
a couple hours and you figured it out, but then you came across
Dumb
like
ones.
big ones, and like those grew, because the biggest thing is also every time you solve something, you memorize how you solved it pretty much,
Mhm.
and now next time you go to solve a problem, that's another, maybe you found like a really good website that had like a pretty good technical breakout, and it's not going to help you for everything, but it's now another resource. Because I know that's a big thing for me, is like finding just weird forums that are like half unrelated to what you're looking for, but there just happens to be like, you know, some kind of
Like
like
a little
sub-thread.
nugget of truth.
Exactly,
Yeah, I get you.
which
I get
is
what
a
you're
lot
saying.
better than finding the, oh, I have this issue, 2 days later I solved it, close thread.
Mhm. Yeah, right. So, again, bottom line for this little thing here is just there's plenty of ways to get into the industry. They're not all going to be the same, and that's kind of like what the theme of this was all about. But I want to move on to something about another kind of question that I had earlier today. Is somebody was speaking with me about security and what it means as far as like categories. Like, not. Let me see if I can phrase this properly after 5. Cheers. Cheers. Yeah. Thanks.
It is almost 5.
No. So what I'm saying
Double
here,
check.
yeah, he's checking me now.
Yeah.
Challenge accepted.
5 check.
Okay, so the point about the whole security thing is everybody's talking about security. Like, obviously, it's an important field. It's something that is booming right now. But what do we consider security? Like, you have physical security, and you have people who work on physical penetration testing. You have network security and all the stuff that goes along with that. You have application security and all of the stuff that goes along with that, and so on and so forth. So there are all these fields that are related but not. Like, you have kind of the same mindset but not the same skill set, right? Like, different skill sets for physical penetration testing, different skill sets for et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So my idea earlier, and I'm not the only one with this idea. This is not like coined by me, but there's, in whatever field you're in, there's this underlying security mindset. It's a mindset, it's a philosophy that you can apply, that you can then apply to whatever field you're concentrating on, right? And so the example that I was using earlier was, you have access to this machine, should you, right? You have access to whatever's behind this door, should you? And these are different fields, same concept, same philosophy, same approach to the way that you're looking and addressing and analyzing this object. Thoughts? No thoughts.
I'd say that's pretty accurate, but I mean, that's also how you look at these. Someone else could look at them and like, that's not at all the top
Are you
50.
that person, Sub?
No, I mean, I'd say pretty same, but like, someone could take a look at it. Pretty much what I'm thinking is, so we've talked about the fact that like, you know, we all kind of came from a technical, but like you could come into like this field and any field from a non-technical. Like someone could look at that and be like, oh, why is it open? Stuff like that. Just,
But dude, like not even security related, but like you have people who can write code for like a system build, and then you have people who can write code that is like graphical design, like CSS, like and HTML, right? You have a little bit of technical background or whatever, but I would say those are two completely different types of people. You have the artistic person who knows how to color match. I don't know how to color match. I'm wearing violet today. I think it matches. But you have people who can you have people who can color match and design and like make a website look really, really good. They might not have the security mindset that you need to do what we're talking about here. But it's still technical.
I would argue that those people also kind of expect whatever like tools that they use, because they probably use some kind of like turnkey solution, because they're like, oh, I can do this part, don't need to. They also have the expectation that that turnkey solution, you know.
Wait, what do you mean here?
So you're saying like the designer, pretty much like they have they have to put their website somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have the assumption that, especially if they're paying for this service, that I'm putting this with you, I'm paying you money. They have the expectation that it's already being taken care of.
Right, the system part of it, the platform,
Exactly.
the infrastructure.
Yeah, the platform's taking care of that, which is not a terrible assumption.
No, but again, that's where you have the person who's building the infrastructure, not the same as the person who is designing a visually appealing website.
Oh yeah, right. I'm not a good designer. I can find things that are broken quickly. I know how to like troubleshoot and find things that are broken, like if part of the platform is. But ask me to like put together a usable UI or a website, and it's going to be usable by me, but the average person are going to go, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know where to find it.
And so, you know, it's like being able to draw a picture or being an artist or a musician. You know, you have that talent and you can see it in your head and you can make it happen. That just does not work for me. So I don't have that skill set.
Right. And see, but that's the thing. It's like that old Mitch Hedberg joke, right? Like, oh, you do stand-up comedy, can you act? It might be in the same realm of performing arts, but it's not the same thing. It's not exactly the same thing. And
Right.
I think it's the same thing.
Right.
I think it's equivalent here, right? Where you have somebody who's good at scripting or troubleshooting or designing. We're all using a computer. Doesn't mean we all know how to design a website.
Right. Exactly. And, you know, just because I can build, you know, a Linux cluster doesn't mean I can fix your Excel problem.
Right, absolutely. I agree, and I think as time goes on, I think people will maybe eventually understand that I can't answer that question for you.
No.
You know.
Well, it's kind of that what you touch and feel is your world, and so for a large portion of people who use computers, what they touch and feel is that UI.
Mm-hmm.
And how that relates, and particularly in smart devices. So they don't really have an understanding of what happens in the background that, you know, the platform that that UI and that application is setting on, be it a website or anything like this. There's a depth there that just it's outside of the average person's understanding, or even the average person in tech's understanding particularly if you're in a development house. It's like how the platform, how the servers become to operational is beyond most of them. Mm-hmm. Or their understanding, they don't care. They need that service, and that's what they want, like you said. And so there's actually a bit of a split in the tech world between those two.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think any of us are disagreeing here. I think it was just kind of like a point of note. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think anybody here in the audience is disagreeing either. I don't think anybody... See, that's why nobody's coming up to the community mic. They're like, we're going to tell you that you're wrong. See, nobody's doing that.
See, that's old BGM's old thing. You know, if he wants to know what an answer is, he just put the wrong information out there, and somebody will have to prove you right, themselves right. So,
by the way, that's why I want you guys to know, like, that's why we started this podcast. To bring people in who know what the fuck they're talking about, because we don't know.
It's like, it's like we can sit down and talk, hardware and what we do to get, our Linux distribution set up and running. And we find it technically interesting. And, setting down and designing a UI, I'd rather go for a root canal, I think.
Right. Completely different sides of the brain here.
And I'm sure all those people who really enjoy designing that stuff would just absolutely kill themselves if they had to do what I have to do every day.
Right, exactly.
And so it's really to like your preferences and your strengths that you prefer to use. Just because a person has a strength doesn't mean that they prefer to use that strength.
Right. Agreed. Last thoughts?
I don't really have any.
No, it's okay.
I feel like
you're all out.
I feel like we talked about it.
You
probably went way off topic.
You're still thinking about that Mexican corn dog.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm so drunk. I want to try it. I swear. I'm not drunk.
Well, I mean, what we could do.
I'm not drunk. You're drunk.
First of all, you're right. Drunk off 1.5 Powerades. Take my keys away from me. Call me
1.5 Powerades. It's not the Powerade, it's the vodka.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so why don't we spend a little bit of time on the news?
Okay.
Sound good?
What do you got?
Okay, let's see. So we'll probably won't do a lightning round today, only because I'm grabbing from the lightning round.
Yeah.
The hackernews.com, where about half of it is clickbait, and the other half we might find
is terribly worded. Clickbait.
Golden opportunity of discussion here. In fact, the first two articles are clickbait, but let's read them so that you know that I'm not just bullshitting you. The first one is how organizations can defend against advanced persistent threats.
They had to put advanced in there so you knew it was serious.
Yeah, it's like, be afraid.
APTs, man. APTs, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one, again, this isn't the lightning round, I promise. The next one, though...
that was some real FUD throw in there.
FUD? What's FUD? What?
Fear, uncertainty, doubt.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's how this company makes their money.
It's like, you'll never believe how bad this could be.
Yep.
You're right, I won't read it.
That's right. Click.
Well, I'm not clicking on the link.
Okay.
All right, next one. The best template for posting cybersecurity jobs. What? I didn't even read that yet.
I thought you purposely wanted to make those posts
no,
unreadable.
There's a template
so
for
you
that?
know that the person really knows.
Wait. There's a template
for posting cybersecurity jobs, apparently.
For posting for them or posting?
It's probably posting the job itself.
Ah, there you go.
Because it's hard. I mean that's actually pretty honest though. Like there are posts. Like I've seen them. You've seen them.
Oh yeah,
you understand what the job is for.
You need 20 years of Ruby experience.
The post did terrible at like going like. I've applied for a job like the job I had before my current one. It was like 20 words maybe. Like it was enough to get like. But there's somewhere like they give you too much, too little. You just terrible job post.
Are you into stuff in places? We have stuff in places. Come see us.
Exactly.
Yeah, stuff like that.
I have seen a lot of memes recently of people saying that like it'll be their like who am I shot from talks, and it'll have like a bunch of languages, and on the bottom it's like my favorite part is asking recruiters which one of these are Pokemon, and then you actually go up and you'll see that there's Pokemon strewn throughout the list.
Yeah, I saw that post before.
You should do that for your next talk.
Maybe? I don't know.
Okay.
All right. Next one. Now, this is one that I think we spent a little bit of time on before the podcast, so maybe we'll talk a little bit about this one. Let's see. Hacker who tried to blackmail Apple for $100,000 and gift cards, by the way, but we'll get to that. Sentenced in London. So we can find out what the sentence is, but I didn't know until one of our audience members told me that it's $100,000, not in cash, but in iCloud gift cards. By the way, according to this article, he's from the Turkish crime family.
The or a Turkish crime family?
It says...
I mean, are they so small that they only have a single family?
I'm sorry. It doesn't even say the Turkish crime family. Oh, no, yeah. Called the Turkish crime family. And the Turkish crime family is in quotes, and it's a link to probably some other resource that I
Would it
won't
be
click
funny?
on.
They're not even Turkish. That's our name.
That's right.
We're the Turkish crime family.
Yeah.
You guys are also from, like,
Link to their
Bolivia.
homepage, or-
Oh,
Yeah.
you know what? That's funny. Well, we can't hear you, but so somebody in the audience said, does that link to their homepage? And I'm thinking like, does a crime family have like a website, like an internet presence?
Can you imagine being that reporter reaching out like, hey, we're going to talk about one of your guys who got sentenced. Can we link to your website?
Do cartels have an internet presence?
On the regular web?
Oh,
They do.
We're
Well, like,
talking about
is it
dark
like a-
shit here.
I mean,
Darker than Doxy. Hi, you thought I wouldn't do that, did you?
Is it like a announced presence? Because they're definitely on the clear web. You know, you hear all about that, like forums for like prestige puppies and stuff like that. Turns out it was all like secret messages, stuff like that.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like people use forums to like communicate stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
So they definitely have that. But I mean, realistically, what would a cartel need a website for?
Pushing more drugs, bro.
I don't know. At least the news makes it sound like cartels don't have an issue pushing drugs.
No, cartels have an internet department. From what I've heard, they have an internet department. Anyway, so yes, this let's see. So the hacker's name was Albiar. Why?
You could just skip his name.
Albirak. No, it's fun to try.
So he's not fake Turkish.
Albirak. No,
Yeah.
his last name was Albirak. Gave Apple a deadline until April 7th, 2017 to pay up $75,000 in cryptocurrency or $100,000 in iTunes gift cards. So you had a choice. Either it's going to be $100,000 in gift cards or $75,000.
So in order for iTunes gift cards to be valuable as a resellable commodity, there has to be a market for that commodity. There are people who are wanting discounted iTunes gift cards.
Right. But only $100,000?
But the point is, there's people who want discounted iTunes.
The funny
Gift
thing
cards.
is, does it say like what the denomination of gift cards? Because they could just fucking give
Give
them
'em
$100,000.
$1,000.
Yeah,
One
just a single one.
$100,000.
Damn, I like the way
Never
you
be
think.
able to use it
What?
ever.
You know what, man? Oh shit, you're good. So before the podcast, I was looking at this article. I was like, man, $100,000. Like, if you're going to be a criminal, go big. But man, as you as like a blue team type of person, or the way that you're thinking right now, I like that. That's an awesome troll.
Yeah,
You want $100,000 in
I'm
gift cards?
assuming that he.
His name?
Albirak.
That's his pseudonym right there.
Albirak.
I mean, so the biggest thing for us, it is for over there. Like that,
Right,
that could be
right.
Steve.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That could be a common name.
Steve.
I unfortunately
No,
don't know
Albirak
that
is
name.
his last name, so it would be like Smith or whatever. I mean, it could be.
All I'm saying is like, how do they generate this business? Like, you get paid in could you get rid of $100,000 in gift cards tomorrow?
Probably just put them on eBay though.
Is that what you do? Just put them out there. Here's a $10 gift card. Give me $7. It's in the mail tomorrow.
Oh, now you got me thinking. Could I?
All right.
Okay, in general, could I spend $100,000 tomorrow? And I'm not talking about like on a house or a car,
Next
like a
week
Tesla.
we'll
That's
talk
fucking
about
easy.
Chen being arrested for
No.
trying to shell out.
No. If I had a legitly earned $100,000, could I spend it tomorrow? I don't know. That's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, how much?
I'd
would
be
you-
a horrible
how much-
millionaire.
How much would you walk away with after converting that many iTunes gift cards? I mean, what's your actual dollar walk away?
I'm assuming he's expecting 70,000.
Yeah, because he
That's
said
pretty
75,000
Yeah.
or
So
100,000.
I'm assuming that means he's expecting a 30,000 loss.
Oh, 30%. Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah.
30% in like transfer fees?
Well,
Or
no, it'd be like here's a $10 gift certificate. You give me $7 for it.
Yeah, so you were right on the money there, because I'm assuming that is why you'd ask for a bit more gift cards. It's because that's how much you're expecting to lose.
Wow.
Sorry, I read the end of the article. Okay, so check this out. When asked about his act, Alburak told NCA Investigations that once you get sucked into it, cybercrime, it meaning cybercrime, it just escalates, and it makes it interesting when it's illegal.
Jesus.
I mean, come on, this is like...
I'd be
terrible.
naughty.
Yeah, no, it's like a weird like risk reward thing. Like, oh my god, I could be arrested. This is
Someone just posted, what if the guy just wanted to download a lot of iTunes?
100,000. Wait, is that in the Discord?
Yeah.
$100,000?
So my biggest thing would be, you'd be paying a lot of money for something that's pretty much stuck to one service.
Wouldn't it be better to be a pirate at that point and just pirate the music that you were gonna buy for $100,000?
Maybe that was the next step of his plan.
Well, no. So,
Like you said,
so
he
this
gets
is
sucked
obviously
into
what's
it.
happening is, he'd been a pirate this entire time, and it just wasn't doing it for him. So he had to go to that next level of crime.
This is the escalation he was talking about.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
Posted the article in the Discord as well.
Okay.
If people want to follow along.
All right. Well, we spent some time on that article. Let's go to the next one, shall we?
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Why are all these names so fucking hard to pronounce? Or maybe it's just me.
Hacking just doesn't happen here.
Hackers behind Ghostnim
We don't
malware
have Hacker Town.
sentenced for stealing $100 million. See, that's a
In
criminal.
iTunes script.
No, he didn't say that. Okay, so
yeah,
this
but
is...
the other one didn't say it either in the title, so.
We're talking... Wait, 100 million. We're talking about like 100 times the money, right? Is that 100 times the money?
1,000 times.
1,000 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do math.
It's a banking
100
Trojan.
million is 1,000 times 100,000.
You know, it has been a while since we've heard about a banking Trojan.
Okay, so he got 100 million in what?
Well, he was it was $100 million in ransomware, but he was sentenced. Let's see. In May this year, Europol dismantled the cybercrime network behind Ghostnim, with the United States issuing charges against a total of 10 members. Oh, 10 members in a hacker group or a hacker syndicate.
That's
Ooh.
Man, that's still 10 million each.
Yeah.
Well, there's also expenses. We're probably looking at like 8 mil.
Okay, you're making it sound like we're condoning crime. No, look, we do not condone black hat activity.
That's still 100 times more than the other guy got for all his iTunes.
That's a stupid.
And he had a whole database too. But no, I'm looking at it as
criminal.
well. Apparently, there was more than 4,000 victims.
Oh wait, they got Russian names in here, like Alexander Konovalov.
Oh,
I need more vodka.
vodka.
He says as he picks up a nice sparkly drink.
So, wait, what were you saying? I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
They it looks like it was the Trojan is reportedly hit more than like 4,000 people in the United States and Europe between 2015 2016. So for only like a year, maybe 2 years, that's a good amount of money.
100 million in 2 years?
Yeah.
Split across 10 guys?
5 million a year.
Yeah, that'd keep you in Ferraris.
I mean, so we did talk about. There is like a town where it's all a bunch of like hackers, and
In-
it's literally what it is. Lamborghinis, like
Is
expensive
that like in
cars.
Eastern Europe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
in
think I've heard
Central
of it.
Europe.
Central Europe, not west enough to be democratic, or like east enough to remember the Soviet
It's
Union.
in the Forgotten Land.
It's a Romanian city. Well, essentially, the way
Of
they
course it's
describe it was that like the
What's
town.
that
I think.
supposed to mean?
Nothing. I threw that.
Of course
out
it's
there.
Romanian. Listen,
I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, the town like was kind of like doing kind of crappily, and then the internet like revolution, whatever.
They got their
happened.
first 56K
yeah, pretty
modem?
Much, yeah,
Yeah.
they just jumped on it. Never since then.
Have you seen the internet? That's a great thing.
you know what we could do with this?
I've never been to Romania. I don't know if that's how their accent is.
It is not.
Actually,
I had a Romanian teacher.
Well, it is nigh.
no, I went on a date with a Romanian girl twice. Like, same girl, 2 dates.
You sure?
Second time just to see if you could understand her.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So, no, that's a bygone time, but
She still sends me texts. I don't know what they say, but she still sends them.
no. But okay, this is probably why we stopped dating. But like when I realized
Because you made jokes like that.
This is probably why.
All in agreement.
Right.
Say
no. Maybe this is the point where I stopped drinking. No. I think after the second date, I showed her that Numa Numa song.
What?
I'm gonna stop talking.
Are you-
Yeah,
were-
because they're
did-
Romanian.
Numa Numa.
Yeah,
Did you try to dance to that?
I didn't try. I did very well.
Okay.
Okay. Now we know why there's only 2 days.
And that's why there's only 2 dates. Community Mike.
Do you know the actual title of that song?
Shisun Vojnik. Or
Nope.
something. What is it?
Dragostetinde.
Oh, that's right. A dragon. It's
That's
about
so
a
much
dragon.
Yeah. And the name of the group?
Crap. I knew this. Hold on. I know this. I know this. I know this.
You want a hint?
Hold on. Because I remember that in the music video, they were like on a plane dancing. I remember that.
Yes, but they could not
Play
afford any
dancers.
fuel for it, so it just sits on the runway.
Great. Now I'm going to sing this whole goddamn song. Okay, what's their name?
The name of the group is Ozone. With
Oh,
a dash.
fuck, it was.
With a dash. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dash zone.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
just thinking, if she winds up like asking you why you didn't respond to her text, you can just tell her that you couldn't find the right code page. Unicode joke. Sorry, guys.
No. No, I don't think it's going to get to that level.
Is this the video?
You're going to show me now? I don't know, maybe. Wait, how do we get here? Oh,
You said
yeah.
ozone, so O.
Dash zone.
Okay, sorry.
I think
sorry.
I found it.
$100 million. Oh, wait, I remember. We were talking about it being a city in Central Europe.
Romania.
In Romania, because that's where I guess you can do all this hacking stuff. I don't know. So they were sentenced. A lot of hackers getting busted now, I guess.
I mean, the biggest thing is like a lot of these are like several years old.
Sure.
Like this
Yeah.
one is like 3-4 years old. Because I do remember like it used to be like, oh, you know, that team that just caused issues just last week. But now it's like long, dragged out.
Because they're probably getting better representation.
Well, yeah, that, and I probably also like laws, because I know the U.S. has this issue. I think Europe's supposed to be a little better, but it still has this issue. Laws not catching up with the times. Like, I remember when revenge porn became a thing. There was no laws that like were for it, so you'd have judges trying to like get like smaller charges and then trying to add stuff to it, which is just weird that that's how our judicial system works. That you like build your own case pretty much. Like, I can't get you with this one, but here's this two
Like-
small
Like
charges.
justice as a service?
Yeah, like, oh yeah, let me get the prosecutor goes in like, I want these 3 things, and then they're like, we'll give you these 4 things.
It's like magic to the justification.
But
Next
anyways,
article. All right, this one's on a happier note, I guess. Apple opens up its invite-only bug bounty program to all researchers.
I didn't realize their bug bounty program was invite only.
At least they have one. We said on this podcast before, Adobe doesn't have a bug bounty program.
And look how well they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. What is it? 3, 4? Oh, it's on the next page. Adobe makes a special appearance.
Wait, are you
Speaking of
serious?
this. Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't think we'll get that far. We usually
Well-
never do.
So that's for all Apple products?
It just says Apple opens up its invite-only bug bounty. Maybe more of like its iOS kind of shit. Like
Okay.
iPads, iPods. No, wait, iPods. are a
It
thing.
is.
I mean iPhone. I mean
apparently
iPhone.
everything: iOS, macOS, watchOS, tvOS, iPadOS, and iCloud.
Why?
This program has been around for 3 years previously,
Okay, that's cool.
and apparently,
Has it been paying out or?
so the biggest thing is they just increased the maximum reward from 200,000 to 1.15 million.
Whoa.
Yeah, it now accepts bug reports for
Boy.
everything.
That's some real confidence. You know, you're throwing that kind of money on the table. You're like, hey, you can't find nothing.
Well, the biggest thing is I think they also realize like that's where most of Apple's like PR issues have been coming from lately. At least I feel. I don't really pay a lot of attention.
Wait,
to
when
it.
was the last Apple attack? Like, or Apple-centric attack?
On iOS?
On, I guess, anything, really.
I want to say macOS had an issue recently.
Yeah.
Then how come it's not in the news?
I think it was, but like it's been 2 days at least,
Yeah.
so it's already a new thing.
And they control that pretty heavy.
But no, one of the biggest things, I would say this probably also helps out with like what is it, Bounty One Bounty, all of the services that do like bounty bug bounty stuff. They now have like larger prizes, which just attracts more people into it,
Okay.
which is always good.
All right, well, that is actually where we should probably stop because these articles are from last week. So, not much happening in the news because hackers also celebrate Christmas. That's what happened.
Oh, did Overwatch go down Christmas Day again for like the 5th year in a row?
Oh, I don't know. Did it?
No one,
I
no
played.
one said anything.
If only we had
Oh!
someone here who played Overwatch.
Yeah, Doxy. Where the? No, he's probably playing right now. He's probably not on assignment.
Yeah.
He's probably at home playing, watching us in the background, like haha, fuckers. Anyway,
It's funny he thinks he has them in the background.
He plays Overwatch?
yeah, Doxy.
I always pictured him as a Fortnite guy.
No, he's not a Fortnite guy.
I think he says he hates Fortnite.
He used to play PUBG. I don't know if he does anymore.
I can see him doing Overwatch.
Yeah, he plays Overwatch, a lot of it. Anyway, so that brings us to the end of the hacker news. Not that bad as far as clickbait. Yeah. So,
He says like we didn't just get 5 stories down and stop.
yeah.
first
I'll
two
tell you-
were clickbait.
No, the rest is from last week. We already talked about it last week. Anyway, so let's see. That brings us to the end of the hacker news here on the show. Like it's like not mostly news anymore. In any case, that brings us to the end of the show. So I think I forgot how to close this show. Remember, we are here live every Friday night at 7:30 at the Sin Shop. The address is 1075 American Pacific Drive, Suite C in Henderson, Nevada. Go to sinshop.org for more information on the hackerspace. Go to meetup.com/sinshop to know about our meetups and the stuff that we have going on. We have a board meeting next week. We have other things going on. And for information on us as a podcast, go to Greynoise. That is GREYNOI.se. My name is Master Chen.
Sub.
And I'm Vic.
Good night, everybody.